Mini Arepas and Nata. Arepitas con nata. How adorable are these arepitas? I learned to love them many years ago when living in Venezuela, and they make the most adorable and delicious appetizer. Sally that girl in the kitchen. Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sally That Girl in the Kitchen. In today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to make mini arepas and nata, arepitas con nata. So, if you're not familiar with what these arepitas are, arepas have become much more popular lately because they were featured in a major film. And prior to that, I really believe that people who knew arepas were people who had been exposed to them in Latin American countries. They weren't as popular here in the United States and the rest of the world. But thanks to this new exposure, I've been thinking about arepitas. I've had them on my mind. So, as for the nata I buy at an international market. It's a Venezuelan product and it's very similar to a sour cream, just a little more tangy and maybe somewhat thicker. It's really delicious. So if you can get your hands on some of that to serve these arepitas with, that would be great. Of course, you can also serve them with a Venezuelan cheese like Queso de Mano or Queso Guayanes. All of those options are delicious. The sky is the limit. And in today's version, I'm going to be using an electric appliance to make these mini arepas. I can make these, of course, on a skillet, on my stovetop, on a griddle, or I could even start them on the skillet, finish them in the oven. But truth be told, this appliance is so much fun, and sometimes online you can find these appliances to make mini arepas, but the ones to make larger arepas are more easy to find. So these appliances, I'm actually going to be using one today, but I own two, are actually intended to make mini pancakes. But guess what? They work perfectly to make mini arepas too. So I'm super excited to teach you how to make them. So let's not wait another second and let's get started. For today's recipe, you will need 2.5 cups of warm water, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 cups of harina pan. This is the flour that we use to make these arepas, and you can usually find it in the international section of your supermarket. 2 tablespoons of either ghee or melted butter. I'm going to be using ghee. And you'll need the Venezuelan Style Crema Nata if you're going to be serving your mini arepas with it, which I highly recommend. But of course, as I said, you could also use a Venezuelan type cheese, such as Queso de Mano, Queso Guayanes, or a Latin Queso Blanco, or truthfully, whatever cheese you love. Make them your own. You will also need a wet measuring cup, a serving fork or something to stir with, some measuring spoons, some dry measuring cups, a medium-sized bowl, a small bowl, and a pastry brush. And I also recommend having a spoon, just a regular tablespoon that you would use for eating, to help remove the mini arepas from the appliance. And finally, this is the little appliance I've been talking about, which I love so much, and it'll make 8 mini arepas at once. As I said, it was designed to make mini pancakes, but it's the perfect size and shape, and it works perfectly. I actually love to run 2 of these at once and just make a ton of arepitas. So I understand that not everyone will have an appliance such as this one, so if you don't have one, that's okay. You could just use a skillet right on your stovetop and flip them halfway. So the first thing I want to do is measure out my water, and I'm going to put it in the microwave because I want to warm it up. And then I'm going to add my harina pan to my medium-sized bowl. And then to that, I'm also going to add my salt. And then all I'm going to do is combine these 2 ingredients. I want to make sure that my salt is well distributed amongst the harina pan. So harina pan is actually made from corn. It is a pre-cooked white cornmeal. So we're using the white version. Harina pan also comes in yellow corn, but this is the white corn meal, and it's made up of pretty much corn. It is perfect for these mini arepitas, and they're gonna turn out delicious. So now I've incorporated the salt into my harina pan, and I've brought over my water, which is hot, but it's just hot to the touch. It's not steaming hot. And then I'm just gonna add it in little by little. So I added in about a third at a time, because the idea is to pour some in, and then I use my serving fork to just stir and bring the ingredients together, and you're gonna see how quickly this cornmeal absorbs the water. And then as soon as it seems a little dry, then I'm gonna go ahead and add a little more. And basically I'm just adding it in thirds. That was my second third. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm just gonna mix with my fork until it's well incorporated before I add the rest of my water. So if you've seen any other videos that I have produced that involve dough, you will know that I love using my trusty serving fork to work with dough. There's just something about the way I can use it to scrape down the sides of the bowl and to just incorporate those ingredients that I absolutely love. It's the way my grandmother and my mom taught me how to work with dough, and I just love using it. Of course, if you prefer working with a spatula or a spoon or a dough whisk, that's totally fine, but I find that a serving fork works absolutely perfectly. So that is my go-to when creating so many different types of dough. So I've added that third portion of warm water, and you can see the mixture has become a bit more creamy, and I'm using that fork to just break down any clumps and make sure that that water is absorbed by this cornmeal. I want to make sure it's well distributed because I don't want any dry spots. I want all of that flour to absorb the beautiful warm water and create this creamy, lovely dough. Now, it does look a little wet, but you do not have to worry because I'm just going to mix it for another minute or so, and you're going to see that all of that water is going to be absorbed by this cornmeal, and it's definitely going to firm up. Now, what I like to do once I feel that most of my water has been absorbed by my cornmeal is I just clean off my fork and I switch to my hands, because what I want to do is make sure that there aren't any large lumps of dry flour in the mixture. So I'm just gently wiping down the sides of the bowl, and then I'm just kind of going in with my fingers to feel if there are any little clumps, and if I find any, then I just break those up with my fingertips, because at this point my mixture should feel smooth, but there is a possibility that there are going to be a few little clumps here and there. So I just kind of go in with my fingers and I lift from the bottom, and then I'm just kind of inspecting my beautiful smooth dough to make sure that I break up any little clumps that I may feel in the mixture. And I just do that between my index finger and my thumb. Any little clump I feel, I just break it up. So this is feeling quite smooth at this point. And as you see, it's kind of a wet dough, but that's totally fine. You want it holding together, but you don't want it dry and firm. You do want to feel that moisture running throughout. And all I'm doing is just kind of shaping it into a rough ball, and then I'm just going to let this sit right here in this bowl for about 5 minutes, because that little rest will allow our mixture to absorb all of that liquid, to firm up just a bit, and to be ready to be shaped and cooked. So now I plugged in my appliance because I want it to start getting hot while my mixture rests for 5 minutes. And I'm also taking advantage of the time, and I'm measuring out my 2 tablespoons of ghee. As I said, you could use butter. I'm still gonna warm this up in the microwave because I'm gonna use my pastry brush to brush this onto the appliance, and it's gonna flavor those beautiful mini arepas, and it's gonna help them not stick and just brown up a touch, and it's just absolutely perfect. But you can use butter instead. You can use a little bit of vegetable oil. You can even use a nonstick spray if you prefer. So now, it's been 5 minutes, my dough is rested, and it's ready to go. And I'm just grabbing my pastry brush and a little bit of this ghee, and I'm just going to give this appliance a little bit of a coating with the ghee. I just find it works beautifully, and it doesn't get too dark, and it just helps crisp up my mini arepas without browning them too much, because we just want them to get slightly golden and just show off their beautiful natural color. And I feel that ghee works perfectly for this. So now what I do is I grab some dough and I just roll it out into the shape of a little ball, and then I'm just going to place those balls right here onto the appliance. Now, as I said earlier, if you're using a skillet on your stovetop, you do the same thing, but then you would take the ball and kind of press it down a little bit to form a disc, because of course you wouldn't be closing the appliance over it, which creates the disc for you. So if you're making them on a skillet, you just roll them in your hand, flatten them a little with your fingertips, and then place them on your skillet. Now, when you're using this appliance, all you want to do is place them right on, and then when you close them, they're going to flatten out, and the bottom and the top will cook at the same time. If you're using a skillet, halfway through you'd have to flip them, but here they get cooked on both sides at the same time. So it's going to take between 5 to 8 minutes for these arepitas to fully cook. So what I like to do is I just go ahead and I make more balls while my first batch is cooking. And as you cook, you create more balls. You can actually go through all of your dough and just create all of the balls as you cook, or depending on how quickly you work, then you can just do 8 at a time to have enough for your next batch. So it's been about 7 to 8 minutes at this point, and my arepitas are looking beautiful. You see, they just have a slightly golden color, and they're steamy and beautiful. So what I like to do is I like to take them off of my appliance with the help of a spoon, and I place them on some paper towel. I just lay them flat just for a couple of minutes to remove any excess moisture, because I don't want to put them in a bowl one on top of another while they're still hot, because I don't want them steaming each other. I want the outside to remain slightly crispy. So as I remove them, I just place them on some paper towel and allow that excess moisture to escape, so I keep that beautiful golden crispy exterior. So now I've removed my first 8, and then of course I'm just going to repeat the process over again. The idea here is to just do this a few times until we run out of dough. I'm just going to go ahead and brush my appliance once again with my ghee and prepare it to receive those little beautiful dough balls that I've already created for my mini arepas. And then I'm just going to place them right on the appliance again and just repeat the same process. So I was able to get 52 arepas out of this batch. Now remember, I'm making mini arepas, so 52 sounds like a lot, but trust me, they fly, because of course you're not going to eat one of these, you're going to eat quite a few because they're absolutely delicious. So they are perfect for finger food, for appetizers, because of that reason, because you can make so many out of this little batch of dough, and really it's a crowd pleaser. You serve these slightly warm, just with some cheese or nata on the side, and everyone is going to be very happy, trust me. And they work beautifully for breakfast or a snack or really for any time because they are that yummy and they are so easy to make. It's literally harina, pan, water, and salt, and that's it. And of course, as I said, if you don't have one of these appliances, then just make them on your stovetop in a flat pan, on a griddle, or on a skillet. Or you could even spray a tray and bake these instead. I, of course, like the little crispiness I get from making them like this or on a skillet. I think they get golden and beautiful. Look at how cute these look. Tell me that's not a beautiful appetizer that you can set out for people or even for like a brunch on a Sunday. It's something adorable and delicious, and it's just so tasty. Everybody's gonna love them. And then you can serve a bunch of little things on the side to complement these mini arepas. They just are so tasty, and they get that little golden color as we cook them, and they're just absolutely beautiful. And the smell is divine. And wait until you taste these with this nata, crema nata. This is the one that I bought, and it is a Venezuelan product, and I absolutely love it. And I love how cute it is because you could just squeeze some right onto your plate. But of course, you can serve it in a little bowl with a spoon, make it fancy if you're having some guests over. But I like the convenience of that squeezable little bag. And then I'm just gonna put a little bit of it right on my mini arepa. Yum, yum, yum. So good. Look at how beautiful the center is. It's perfect, and it's golden on the outside. It's so delicious, slightly crispy. It's amazing. It's crispy on the outside, but creamy on the inside, and the contrast of the warm mini arepa with the cool nata. Oh my. This is what dreams are made of, and my memories are made of. I remember Venezuela and loving these, and I still make them for my family because they are that good. It's a recipe you want to hold on to. So tasty. I love these. And the fun part is you can play around with them. You can add a little Parmesan cheese to the mixture. When you're making them, if you want to make them cheesy, you can even add a little bit of shredded cheddar. You can play with this dough. You can make it sweet by adding some sugar. There's so many different things you can do to this dough, but just like this, classic arepita con nata. Yum, yum. It is so delicious. The center's creamy. And the outside somewhat crispy. You are gonna love these. See, this is Queso de Mano, which is one of the cheeses I was saying you can serve them with. I absolutely love it with Queso de Mano. You can put a little piece right in the center, just cut it up a little bit and stuff it. And it's also, so tasty, so good. These are going to be a huge hit. So how adorable are these guys? They are so cute, and of course they're delicious, and you can serve them with so many things. You can actually serve them along with steak too, and just put a little sauce over them. They really would go great with pretty much anything. But of course, my favorite way to serve them is with a side of nata or with some cheese. I absolutely love them that way. But no matter how you serve them, they're delicious, they're easy, and they're just a great little recipe that you should definitely try. Trust me. No, better yet, don't trust me. You're gonna have to try to make this recipe yourself. And of course, if you've enjoyed today's recipe, don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thank you so much for all the beautiful comments I've been getting lately, for all the likes, for all the times you're sharing my videos with your friends. I am so appreciative. Thank you so much for doing that. And of course, if you're not already subscribed to Sally, That Girl in the Kitchen here on YouTube, please make sure to subscribe and to hit that notification bell so that you get notified when I put up new recipes, which I do constantly, so you're not going to want to miss those. And of course, under my video tab, I have so many recipes there already. Breads, appetizers, mains, sides, desserts, food from all over the world. I know you're going to love it all. And of course, if you're not already following me on social media, please be sure to follow Sally That Girl in the Kitchen on Facebook, Instagram, and on Pinterest. And you can find me as Sally That Girl FL on Twitter, Snapchat, and on TikTok. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Sally That Girl in the Kitchen.